guys, it's Ahmer here. So today we have another episode in this series where I take you along with me on my collecting journey, where we're trying to grow my Super Nintendo video game collection. We're trying to do so on a budget without overpaying and just overspending, paying top dollar on all of these games here. So we are going for a full set, and last week we had such an amazing haul as I was able to pick up some amazing Super Nintendo games at the grand opening of one of my all-time favorite video game stores, Retro Replay. So make sure you guys check out that video and see where we left off coming into this week. So let's go ahead and see what I got. Last week we had such an amazing pickup, and I'll go ahead and recap some of those games, but definitely added some really cool titles to my collection. So we left off with 153 going into this week out of 721, and at the rate that I was going, I knew that I probably wouldn't end this series. So this week we have tons of games right here. But to quickly recap from last week, this one was probably my all-time favorite. This is Super R-Type with this really awesome upside down label. This error print right here for this Super Nintendo game. I'm learning and finding so many crazy things along this way, and I just can't wait to grow the collection. We also added the Sonic Blast Man, which the second one is just so crazy expensive. We added Operation Logic Bomb, which is actually a really fun game. We added The Mask, which was a really awesome movie. And then this one, Saturday Night Slam Masters, which is a really cool wrestling game. So, of course, this week we had to go ahead and top that off. So I couldn't think of a better way. We'll try and go through a lot of these games rather quickly, as we just have so much stuff here. So of course, I decided to add a big chunk that I could. I went to a local video game store, of course, Retro Replay, and I was able to add a lot of these titles, some decent ones, and a lot of sports filler titles into my collection. So to quickly go through some of these games, if you know of any of these games, you played them growing up, you love them, let me know in the comments below, and I'll have to give some of these sports games a try, just because I always played the sports games on my Sega Genesis, as it was a little bit better playing it on the Sega Genesis as opposed to the Super Nintendo, you know, the whole blast processing thing. So, of course, we'll go ahead and start out with a couple of these games here, and then we'll total everything up. So this right here, we have some of these boxing games. We have George Foreman's KO Boxing. We have Boxing Legends of the Ring. So a lot of these games I scored for pretty cheap. And then we have this one right here. This is Radical Psycho Machine Racing. So some of these games I know absolutely nothing about. And then we have, for some reason, 2 copies of this game. I must have picked this one twice. This is Newman Haas IndyCar featuring Nigel Mansell. So this one's actually really cool. So we have this cleaner variant, and then we have this right here. This variant is really cool. So this one is property of Hollywood Video. It has the stickers on the side, these classic throwback stickers to Hollywood Video. And then of course it even has this kind of just jammed on here. This is property of Hollywood Video. So it looks like they use some sort of stamp to kind of melt in here or like carve it out. So this is pretty neat to have. And then of course these games, we have a bunch of basketball titles. We have NBA Give and Go, Tecmo Super NBA Baseball, NCAA Final Four Basketball, NBA Live 97, College Slam, NCAA Basketball, NBA Live 96, NBA All-Star Challenge, Bulls vs. Blazers, NBA Live 96, NBA Showdown, Now I'm really hoping that I don't have a bunch of duplicate games. It looks like we might actually have a couple in the mix here. So I'll have to take that into account when I total everything up. And then we have some of these football games, which I definitely remember playing this Tecmo Super Bowl back in the day. Some of these were just a lot of fun, and I had a blast playing some of these. We have Madden 97, NFL Quarterback Club, this Bill Walsh College Football, NFL Quarterback Club 96, Madden 96, John Madden Football 93. We have Super High Impact and some ABC Monday Night Football. Now on to some of these racing games. We have this Super Chase HQ. So not really too sure what this game is about, but I definitely remember playing some of these Top Gear games. So we got Top Gear 1 and Top Gear 2. So these are definitely pretty cool. I remember playing on the second one. It was definitely an upgrade as opposed to the first one. And I really like how you can use some of your points here to go ahead and upgrade the vehicles. That was definitely a pretty cool aspect in these games here very early on. And then on to this racing game. This one is Super Off-Road, but it's the Baja. So this one's a little bit different than Super Off-Road, which was everywhere. I love playing that one in the arcades. That 3 steering wheel on that huge arcade machine where it's kind of this top down and everyone can see the screen. That one was such an amazing game. This one did something a little bit different, so I'll definitely have to be on the lookout if I don't already have the first one. But I remember playing that one. Multiplayer is of course the way to go on the normal Super Off-Road, so I'm definitely excited to see how the Baja one plays as opposed to the first one. But nothing can beat Super Off-Road, as that one was everywhere. Then on to some of these games here. We have Jeopardy, but this is the Sports Edition. We have Wheel of Fortune, the Deluxe Edition. So of course some of these kind of TV show spin-offs. We have Jeopardy, the Deluxe Edition. We even have this regular Jeopardy. This one right here is featuring your host, Alex Trebek. And then we even have some Vegas stakes. So some of these might be interesting to go back and see kind of how they had the spin on these classic games right here. Then of course some fishing titles. We have Super Black Bass. We have this TNN Bass Tournament of Champions. Some of these do have some stickers on here, like this one says Village Video, and some of these are local to me, some of these are kind of further away, so it's neat to see all of the different stickers for all of these places and kind of see where these games ended up. Then of course onto this game. This is one that I definitely had to add, as I believe I have the first one. We have Home Alone 2. This is Lost in New York. So this one definitely models after the movie, and this one was a large improvement from the first one. Definitely a classic from back in the day. I love these movies. I loved all of the tricks and everything else. So this is definitely a pretty cool one to have in the collection now. And then we have this title, Izzy's Quest for the Olympic Rings. Not really too sure about this wacky character, but some of these games I kind of just added just to complete this set here, as I know nothing about these. This one is pretty interesting. This one is called Faceball 2000. Looks like the smiley face, and it looks like you pretty much have this kind of first-person shooter style game. You have to shoot this guy. So I'm not really too sure about this one, but it looks interesting. Then of course some Tasmania. Definitely played these on the Game Boy back in the day, never on the Super Nintendo, so I'm excited to see that one. We have some Disney games. We have the Jungle Book. We even have this California Games 2. On to some Championship Pool. We have this one called Word Tris, kind of like Tetris, kind of a play on it, so I'm not really too sure about that one. We have this Chess Master game. Then of course some Super Pinball and Zoop. We even have this Jungle Strike, the sequel to Desert Strike. So this one is a pretty fun game as well, so I'm definitely excited to add this one. kind of one of those helicopter style shoot 'em up style game. Then we have some Judge Dredd, kind of based off of the film from the 90s with Sylvester Stallone. This one is one of those run and gun style platformers, but you can actually kick and punch and you have a weapon, so that one looks pretty interesting as well. We have this one right here. We have some Pilot Wings, which is a pretty interesting style game. It's definitely different than some of the other airplane style games, and this one is pretty cool because you have these different little challenges that you have to do, kind of hone in on your skills. Definitely has a slower paced vibe to it, and there is even some shooting action in here at one point, so that one looks pretty fun. This one is a fighting game. It's called Rise of the Robots. Now I heard that this one in particular is not one of the best fighting style games. Of course, there are plenty of others like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat on this system here to choose from, but this one is of course metal on metal, and it's against these robots, so that might be interesting to see. We have this Draken game. Not really too sure about this one. And then even the Super Battle Tank War in the Gulf. We even have another one of these airplane style games. This is Wings 2 Aces High. Then some more sports titles. We have baseball. We have Nolan Ryan's Baseball. We have Big Hurt. This is Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball. Ken Griffey Jr. Winning Run. Definitely one that I remember playing. We have some Super Bases Loaded, ESPN Baseball Tonight, EA Sports MLBPA Baseball. And then this one right here, we have some Cal Ripken Jr., the good old Orioles. We have Cal Ripken Jr. Baseball. Definitely remember him back in the day. Used to watch all of those baseball games, supporting the Orioles. Used to love going to games. Then we have this World Cup USA 94. Some FIFA 96 soccer, some Super Tennis, some David Crane's Amazing Tennis. And then onto this last stack right here, we have this NHL 97, we have NHL 98, which definitely was one of the better titles. This one is a bit more expensive than the rest of these sports games. We have Wayne Gretzky and the NHLPA All-Stars. This ESPN National Hockey Night, NHL 96, NHL 94, NHLPA Hockey, and NHL 95. And that's not all, because probably one of the more expensive games in this lot here, of definitely over 50 games, we have this Raiden Trod. So this one is a shoot 'em up style game. Definitely has a different pace than some of the other shoot 'em up style games that I have in the collection, some of the ones that I've played. This one looked pretty interesting, and it's one that I definitely didn't have or even really know about. So I'm thrilled to have this one. This is a classical shooter. It's not fast paced at all. Not quite as good as some of your others, but I'm still going to give it a try and play it through, just like some of these other games here. So here comes the exciting part. So we had 153 coming into this week out of 721, and I decided that it was time to ramp things up a bit. So I added 72 games here. So that is definitely a huge chunk going into the game collection, going into building this Super Nintendo collection, and I scored all of these for only a few dollars a piece. So this is definitely an amazing score, and I'm so thrilled because some of these are some pretty decent titles. So let me know in the comments below which games you think you remember playing and that are definitely some fun ones in the mix here. And I know that a lot of these are some of these sports and filler titles, but some of these are actually pretty fun, and I remember playing them back in the day. So that leaves us with the 72 that we added. We are at 225. So now we are under just needing 500 more to complete this set here. So that is definitely a huge chunk, going from 153 to 225. Definitely am so thrilled because, like I said, I think we only got 2 doubles in this whole entire lot here. And one of them's actually really cool because it does have that imprint with all of the Hollywood video stickers. It even has this little carved kind of imprint in here that says property of Hollywood Video. So that's definitely a throwback. So overall, let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and of course, stay tuned because we will have more in this series here. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out my other videos, and stay tuned for more.